Hey guys, welcome back. It's Shelby. Today I'm going to be showing you three things. First of all, how to press flowers. It's a craft that I've done for years. I really like it. It's really simple, like surprisingly simple, which is awesome. And then you can make some fun, simple, easy, beautiful crafts out of it. So I'm going to show you two crafts, so I'm counting each craft as a separate thing. So three things total. I will link everything you need down below in the description along with my socials. Please like and subscribe and we'll get right into it. So for this project, you're going to need some heavy books. If you don't have super fancy, awesome ones like these, do what I did and borrow them. These are my roommate's books. If we were using mine, they'd be like paperbacks about sharks. You also are going to need some tissue paper, lovely tissue paper there, and some flowers, which I'm going to go collect right now. All right, so these are the flowers on my front porch. I'm going to be taking these because I know I can without getting in trouble. I've got my little bowl. These are the type of flowers that work really well, like the flat kinds that aren't really thick. Like you can see flowers like this maybe, or definitely flowers like this. That's not gonna press well. There's too many layers, there's too much moisture. You really want something that's a little bit flatter, something that's just going to squeeze and press down more easily and get all of the moisture out. So I'm gonna pick a couple and I'll meet you inside to press them. Right inside with my bowl full of flowers and leaves. Now I need to work quickly with these. I can't just kind of set them to the side and come back a couple hours later because they are going to wilt quickly. So I was sort of kidding about the books, not really. They don't need to be like this fancy, but it does help if they're hardcover and it does help if they're heavy. Like they do need to be heavy. So basically the tissue paper is gonna go in on the first one and then two to weight it down. If not, you could use like an anvil, you could use, you know, really anything, I guess, something heavy. So something hard and flat and then heavy. Books work really well, but you could use anything. Okay, so let's get started. First of all, I'm gonna bring over my base book. Basically, it's just the big one. I'm going to put some tissue paper on top of it. That might be something to note if you're planning on pressing it in between the pages of the book, is that some liquid might squeeze out, so just be careful. And basically all you're going to want to do is put everything flat, like nice and flat, just arrange it. I got some cool leaves. This one's from the, oh no it's not, which one is? These, I think, are from the plant with the big orange flowers that I showed you that there's no way to press them, so I got the leaves instead. This one, honestly, this bulb, I think that's too thick. I don't think that's gonna work, so I'm just going to kind of try to break it off. Yeah, look at all that inside, all the petals and stuff. There's no way. So I'm gonna break it a little bit and see if there's any way to maybe press the flowers but take out the guts of it, if that makes sense. Just press the petals. I don't know, that might not work. This doesn't work for all flowers. It really doesn't, but you can still get some cool just individual petals, and hopefully their colors will stay, because that's the really cool part when you press something and you have the very vibrant colors at the end. Okay, so those took up more room than I was planning, but I think I can squeeze another flower on there. This one's really pretty. It's got one of those like second stem things. Like this comes down, it's usually full of a liquid or a nectar or something, and then here's the actual stem. So I'm just gonna pinch that off because we don't want additional liquid. Place that in nice and flat. And then these are, that's a bunch of flowers, and I really don't know how well it'll work, but they're thin. Like each little guy in there is very thin and kind of dry, so I'm gonna try it. Make a little bit of room down here. Just like that. So this is what my first set of flowers all laid out looks like. There's some room around all of them. They're all nice and flat. I'm gonna cover them with tissue paper and then a book. So I took a lot of care to make sure that all of the flowers in the tissue are on a book and under a book. There's none hanging out in this little excess here. That's all just paper. So these are good. I'm literally just going to set this whole stack aside for 1 to 2 weeks and check in when that's done. I'm gonna get started on the rest of my flowers now. And for this batch, I was smart enough to pre-fold my tissue, just like that. So I'm just gonna lay out the rest of my flowers. Kind of put them at an angle like this, like drape the leaves out, because when they go flat, however they press, that's how you're gonna get it. So if you just do it kind of sideways like this, you're gonna get a closed flower. So you wanna kind of make sure that it's going to turn out the way you want. It's nice to get a variety of flowers when you do this, just for the color and the texture. They're all gonna turn out different. Some of them won't turn out at all. Previously, when pressing flowers, I mean, I'm not an expert on it, but I like to make them and use crafts and stuff, but you can press several of the same type of flower and some will turn out and some won't, like you never know. So, I mean, things like this flower that I'm working on, I'm pulling the leaves off because they feel kind of like succulent leaves, like they're very thick and I can tell they have a lot of moisture in them. So I don't know what this is, I'm gonna rip that off. But the stem's very pulpy too. I'm gonna take that off. Honestly, don't know if this one's gonna press, but it's worth a shot. I'm gonna turn this one upside down, actually, that way I don't have to fight to get it open when the new tissue goes in place with the books. It'll just kind of press open, just like that. Maybe. This one has a lot of pollen in it too. I can see it on the tissue paper where it touched. Okay. And I did try for a couple bunch flowers. I'm gonna rip off the thickest part of the stem down here. Take any dead ones out. Nobody needs to know. So I'm doing a couple of these sideways like this and a couple upside down. It's going to give you a different look when you press it. Just kind of experiment with it and find the way you like best. All right, this one is pretty full, you can see, so I'm going to fold my tissue over. Gently. Try and keep my angles in there. And then press it down with the books. Sure it's kind of even pressure. You want your books about the same size. The top one doesn't really matter, it's just there for weight, but this one, the edges should sort of match up a little bit. All right, that's going in the corner as well, and I'll check in on that with the other one in 1 to 2 weeks. We'll see how it goes. Okay, moment of truth. So I'm just going to unload my books. So these are my 3 tissues of flowers. Okay, let's take a look at the first one. Ooh, that turned out really beautifully. So that one had turned over a little bit on me, but the color's great, very vibrant. I love that one. These little petals, breaking apart that flower was a good call. They retain their color beautifully. Super happy with this one. So this is great. This one definitely worked. I'm gonna put that to the side and check the rest of them. It's always good to have the first one work though, because then you're not stressed like, oh my god, what if they didn't press correctly? Okay, so this one's stuck a little bit. I'm gonna try not to tear the flowers. This just means there's a higher moisture content. Yeah, so that was the thicker flower. That's the one that's giving me issues. So yeah, these are beautiful. These pressed really, really well, really easily. Last one, because we only did 3. Again, the higher moisture, thicker flowers are giving me some grief, but that's it. So they all turned out really well. This is perfect. I'm gonna change the camera angle to get them all in there. So these are the pressed flowers. That's how it turned out. Super awesome. And now I want to make some crafts out of them. So then what I'm doing is I am taking a basically nameplate, like something that you would put on a lanyard, and I'm going to put my flowers in that. Ooh, and they have some static adhesion right there. And then I'm going to be putting them in this little frame. So this is just a little wooden frame you get at the craft store. And I am going to be cutting this to fit and then putting my flowers in there just to create like a little picture frame. I considered painting this, but because the flowers are so delicate, I really just kind of want it a little bit more natural looking. So I'm going to leave it just the bare wood because I think that'd be really pretty. So next step, trim this. I guess I should measure it, right? Oh yeah, that looks fine. Totally good. So then I'm going to open this up and very, very, very delicately put in my flowers in the way that I want them to be. Like I said, it is a little staticky, so they are kind of trying to stick on me a bit. It's okay, just be gentle with them and they will eventually comply. Come in. Basically just gonna center it where I want it. And then when I press it flat, ooh, not with that leaf. When I press it flat, it will do what I want. So it's just a nice, very, let's get it on a white background so you can see it. It's just a nice, very sweet little picture. It's beautiful. Just like that. So now I'm going to turn it over and with my E6000, just give it a little glue down, just in the corners. Just 4 little dots. So that does need to dry before I can put it up. But that's what we've got. Super cute, super pretty. Like I said, just very sweet, very, let me get a white background. I'm hanging this on the wall in the bathroom, so it's a white wall behind it, so it's gonna look like that. So for craft number 2, I have these. They are for labels. You just stick them in and stick them on stuff, like my fingers in there. And I'm gonna use this to make a bookmark. In high school, I used to make pressed flowers bookmarks, and I didn't have these, and I would just put out clear tape, like the thick one, put on my flowers, and then another sheet on top, kind of to self-laminate it. But I thought this would be so much easier. They are adhesive on the back, so what I'm going to do is get 2 of them. Just peel the second one right off and stick them together. Thought that would be kind of a easy workaround. Boom, perfect, look at that. Perfect size and shape for a bookmark. And now you just stick your flowers in. So I know I wanna do this one, because like, how cute is that? Coffee stir. Kind of very gently, because they are fragile, you don't want to break them. One. And I think this would be nice. This is just a pretty, like a sweet little white flower. So that's going to go in there as well. I'm going to unfold it. There we go. So I used to give these bookmarks out as gifts because everyone loves homemade gifts, and that made Christmas so much easier and so much cheaper. And everybody had to at least pretend to like them because they were homemade and they're for reading. So if you're like, oh man, I don't want a bookmark, what am I going to do with that? You're basically saying, I don't read. And nobody wants to admit that. So these were perfect little gifts. Let's do another pink one up at the top just for some color. Oops, it broke. That's okay. I'll smush it down there anyway. There we go. Lovely little bookmark. I'll change the angle so you guys can see this. And we have tons of flowers left over for future crafts, which is pretty awesome. I'm sorry the lighting is all over in this video. I don't know what's up with my camera, but I cannot get it to focus. But let me change the angle and we'll see what we ended up with. Alright guys, so that's it. Super easy. As I said, the only thing is that it does take a while. You're going to want to have your flowers pressed in your tissue paper in your books for probably 2 to 3 weeks, I'd say. But I mean, you know, and the thicker the flowers, the longer they need to go. If you are experimenting with some thicker flowers, err on the side of letting them go longer. But here are the two crafts and how they turned out. And this one, I will show you a picture of it hung up. I'll try to get the white in the background, but I love this. I think it's beautiful. It's super easy, and I think it's better than the pressed flower prints that you can find because they're actual real pressed flowers, and I think you can tell. And it's super fast, super easy, super cheap from things from your garden. So if you had a beautiful event or a memory and you want to take a flower from it and press it and hang it on your wall, it's a great idea for that. Second up, we've got a fun bookmark. This one was seriously so easy to make. It was even easier than the ones I did in high school. As I said, they were the double-sided tape pressed together, but then you had to worry about bubbles, which I always managed to get in there. But this I love, and this you can put in your books. I lose bookmarks all the time. I have like a running thing of needing new bookmarks, so I'm down to 1 currently, so this will make 2, so I'm excited for that. I'm also somebody who can't read one book all the way through. Like, I mean, I do finish them, but like I have 3 or 4 books going at a time, so not having bookmarks is a problem. I put like pieces of mail in there, like a piece of a magazine or something if I don't have a bookmark to put in there. And then whatever mood I'm in, that's the book I pick up and I read. So they do eventually get finished. I realized as I said that it sounds like I can't finish a book. I can. But yeah, so these are the 2 projects. Random tangent. I hope you like them. I hope you try them because they are fun. They're great for really all ages. But yeah. They're awesome. I hope you liked them. If you did, please give the video a thumbs up. Please consider subscribing, and I'll see you soon. Bye.